Hey everybody, this is your man, the Big Cat here, and this is 1995 The Roar, a channel for the fans by a fan. If you're new to the channel, do me a solid, man. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let's continue to grow together. Consider joining the Discord as well. Today we got football for you. Preseason is here. August 8th, the Carolina Panthers welcome the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders and gang. What to expect? As far as quarterback matchups, will Bryce play? Defensive improvement, will it actually show up here? And we got rookies on rookies on rookies here. So sit back, let me walk you through a preview of what to expect in game one. First thing we want to talk about is the quarterback room. We're going to talk about both sides. Should Bryce Young play? Shedeur Sanders debut? Jack Plummer, quarterback 2, Browns quarterback room, and Andy Dalton in a supporting role here. If you ask me, should Bryce Young play in preseason, the answer is simple. Not week one. I think he does need some refinement later on as we get closer to the season, maybe the second week or possibly the third week here. But week one, he should be more in a sit back, analyzing a cerebral approach of the game. You have nothing to gain from him being out there. You know, all that we know about Bryce, we've seen in 3 years, from good to bad. So, I mean, going out there, I know you want to kind of see the T-Mac, and Bryce Young connection, or you want to see the Leggett or maybe even possible Hunter Renfrow and Bryce connection in week one of the preseason. But to me, if you show too much, you already kind of tilt your hat towards the week one matchup against the Jags. Also, you risk the possibility of not being in sync, right? So it's all good when you're in training camp, you're going up against people who familiar with. It's all good. You go out there, you have great chemistry connection. So you risk that opportunity to go out there and not be in sync, and the people already panic and throw the baby out with the bathwater. But ultimately, I think Bryce's best bet is to be sat week one, and I think they will sit him, right, in favor of probably Andy Dalton, maybe Jack Plummer here. Shedeur Sanders debut. Will we get that? I think so. And it should be fun. It should be exciting. My heart goes out to Shedeur's dad, Dion, with the bladder cancer. Thank God it's been, taken care of. But he also had to have some further surgery going on there. But when it comes to on the field play for Shedeur, will they allow for this kid to spin it, right? So we know all preseason, all training camp, I've been hearing that nothing but high praises from Cleveland. Him going out there dominated. But it's a weird dynamic. I don't know if it's collusion or coercion against the Deion Sanders boys. I don't know what's going on, but no matter how much he has done good, I'm hearing that they're still not wanting him to have X amount of reps, or not working with the first team, or so you may not necessarily see him to probably late in the game, if I'm not mistaken here. So, will we actually get to see a good bit of Deion? I don't know, man. I'm hoping that we will, and I probably think we may at least see half a quarter, which will be a travesty. I think he should at least get a full quarter, but Deion Sanders and what he can bring to this game, and even just from a football fan perspective, should be able to see that, all right? But shout out to him. Next up, the whole quarterback room for the Browns. You got Joe Flacco, you got Shedeur Sanders, and you also got Dillon Gabriel, and you got Kenny Pickett here. So what do we see come week one? I don't think Flacco, I think Flacco's the lead dog in the room. Kenny Pickett's right behind him, and I think Dillon Gabriel's in third, according to, the sources of the Cleveland Browns camp. I think you may see a good bit of Kenny Pickett, and then probably Dillon Gabriel, which is a guy who's phenomenal out of Oklahoma. He can come out here and do his thing as well. So he's mobile. But, if you really ask me, it's just Kenny Pickett's job to lose as a backup. Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, those are guys who probably are on the bubble with this team. So be expecting a little bit of everything. I don't know, a little bit of Kenny, a little bit of Dillon, maybe a little bit of Shedeur, and who knows. But I think it's going to make for exciting football here. And if I believe this game's going to go the way I think it's going to go, I think we should be able to give all those quarterbacks a hard time. But that's kind of the quarterback situation for the Browns is tossed up. On to the Panthers here when it comes to our quarterback rule. Is Jack Plummer number 2 versus Andy Dalton here? I know a lot of people had a lot to say about Plummer, who had a solid preseason last year, man. Does he finally come back and overtake Andy Dalton? I'm going to say no. I still like Andy's ability to come in and bring that veteran presence, and also his arm talent is a lot better than Jack Plummer here. Jack Plummer is definitely somebody who's capable of being managing the game. But if you ask me in a real life scenario of who I'd rather have, Plummer or Andy Dalton here, there's no question here, man. And as far as Andy Dalton and what he's going to bring in his support role, I think, again, look, as far as what he can do for Bryce, helping him see the game a lot slowing it down should be beneficial here. I know they opted to go against a younger backup here. I mean, you got Plummer, but, you could have brought in another guy. But I think Andy Dalton, for what it's worth, is a guy, if you had to have him come in mid-season, he's not going to be a liability. Plus, he already knows your system. So at this point in his career, he's a support role guy, and I think he's going to continue to play that. But push come to shove, I think he's our number 2, and I think he can come off the bench and provide some substantial impact if needed. Now moving on to this defense. Much to do about this defense. Is it fixed? Well, first thing you want to look at week 1 against the Cleveland Browns is this rookie impact. We got a bunch of rookies coming in here. We got Nick Gordon, Christian Manley, Cam Jackson from Florida, Lathan Ransom, safety from Ohio State, and then you got the undrafted guy, J.J. Weaver here. What does that rookie impact look like against the Cleveland Browns? Will they kind of wean them in there? Will they allow these guys to kind of go off the hook? I think you're going to see a lot of impact time for these guys. And man, mainly, I'm excited to see Christian Manley. Nick Gordon, another guy, but Manley has been on a tear in camp, and I expect for him to really put that on display. He's been edgy, he's been strong, he's been quick off the edge, and I'm expecting for him to really, I don't care if it's Kenny Pickett or even if it's Dillon Gabriel, to really put some pressure on these guys in that offensive line, especially them being backups here. So be sure to check out the rookie impact. Keep your eye on you, Manley. Definitely on Gordon. Another guy you want to kind of keep your eye on that nobody's talking about is J.J. Weaver, the kid from Kentucky with 6 fingers, man. That's crazy, huh? He went undrafted, but the Panthers picked him up and ended up releasing Amari Barno. So he's a guy that's a camp body, but if he gets hot, I mean, last year in college, he had 5 sacks and I believe 8 tackles for loss coming out of Kentucky. Very versatile edge rusher. So if he comes out here and outperforms somebody, he could be taking somebody's job. So keep your eye on him and what that look like. What is their task coming up when it comes to the first preseason? You got the running game. We had one of the worst running games, 32nd to be exact, last year. And you got a good trio of running backs in Cleveland and Quashawn Jenkins from Ohio State, who I believe is facing a little bit of legal issues. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know if he'll get a lot of snaps, but another rookie in Dylan Sampson, former Tennessee Vol. Hard running dude, man. Hard running dude. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. He can rip off some, man. He's just a gritty kind of guy. So great. I think this is a great matchup for this D-line and just this defense in general when it comes to proving the run. 3 good running backs. Pierre Strong, another veteran who's also proven that he has ability to make plays out the backfield, catching and running, man. So we're going to be tested early. The next thing is the defensive back room here. Shamar Bartholomew. We got to find our number 2 cornerback. I don't expect for J.C. Horn to play. I don't even know if Michael Jackson will play. I'll be surprised, but I won't be mad if he did. I think he can use a little more reps, but hey, it is what it is here. But we need to see who's our unsung hero. Shamar Bartholomew, a preseason training camp body from last year from the New York Jets, has paid dividends in practice, showed up in practice. So maybe he gets on a hot streak and come out here and show us that he can hang with the big dogs, right? If he comes out here, maybe get a couple batted down passes, maybe interceptions, stuff like that. Those are things where you can say, I really want this guy to come in and play a dividends as far as a role on this team. So we're actually kind of thin, outside of Michael Jackson, outside of J.C. Horn here, man. It's really hard to kind of give you a validation for this cornerback room. I feel like we're just a step away from kind of being solid, but we're not there, right? I think we're kind of below average outside of J.C. Horn. You also got Damani Richardson, free safety, who's, again, another camp body doing well. Corey Thornton, another guy. We kind of got to see who's going to be threatening that free safety position. And also you got Lathan Ransom at the strong safety position. So could any of these guys break through? You know what I mean? If somebody were to get hurt, this is what preseason is about. Somebody were to get hurt or somebody's not performing, you look for the guy behind the guy. You know what I mean? And you hope these guys show up, and it's important. So don't just turn the game on and believe, this is just nothing to do about nothing. There's a lot of games within the game that you should be paying attention to. And lastly, in this cornerback room is Shi Smith-Wade. Okay, a guy who's undersized, who's been here for a little bit. He's had one interception last year, one forced fumble. But it's time for him to either, get off the pot or crap. You know what I mean? And at this point, I just don't know. He's playing nickel right now, a little undersized, man, but immensely talented. But again, talent means nothing if there's no production behind it, significant production. So it's going to be interesting to see them against these guys on the Browns when it comes to the wide receiver room. Got a couple veterans, and I like that. Again, you got DeAndre Carter, David Bell here. Don't know how much those guys will significantly play. A little older wide receivers, but those guys have been around. Then you got the young guy, Jamari Thrash from Louisville, a couple years back. Very young and vigorous when it comes to talent-wise. And then you got the tight end from Bowling Green, Heron Fannin Jr., a guy who lit up the MAC in 2024, man. So offensively, don't think they're going to come out here and not have guys that can play. They got some significant guys that can play, and I love it. I actually do. I actually really love it here. And then don't forget about Cade Davis, the guy who's been a journeyman at the wide receiver room, but he's looking to make an impact and has had a solid practice with the Cleveland Browns during this camp. So good matchups across the board when it comes to wide receivers versus DBs. Their running backs versus our defense. It's going to be very, very interesting here. I think this probably might be the game of the week if you ask me. So just to kind of sum up everything, here's our biggest takeaways on defense you should be looking for week 1. Can we stop the run? You got Junkins, Strong. Also, when it comes to cornerback depth, who's going to step up? Who will step up and kind of show that, hey, I'm willing to put my name in the hat? Probably, either cornerback 2, or maybe even a solid rotational guy. And last but not least, linebacker depth. Who do we expect to step up there? We got some rookies on there. We also got a couple of veterans who I don't think will play much, but it's time for guys to separate themselves from the fat, right? It's time for them to separate who's going to be actually here to make an impact and who's actually going to be a practice squad guy. Enough about defense. You guys want to hear about the offense, right? Bryce Young's weapons. Obviously, Bryce won't be playing, but he has a plethora of weapons this year. Expect to see guys like T-Mac, maybe a little bit of Xavier Legette, Jalen Croker, Jimmy Horn, Kobe Hudson, Jacoby George, and Jatavion Sanders here. I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't heard about T-Mac coming from Arizona, again, this guy has a 60%, this is my favorite stat, by the way, 60% contested catch rate. And that has been on display in training camp. This guy catches everything thrown to him, and I'm so excited to see him. Now, how long will he go? Obviously, he's probably going to be a starter for us this year, so I don't expect for him to be out there more than a couple series, and I do expect for them to target him, but he's one to keep your eye on, man. I think he's going to light these guys up real good. Another guy to kind of keep your eye on is Xavier Legette. Again, he's probably 1 or 2 series kind of a guy, but he hasn't necessarily made that second-year impact in camp just yet. He has had some moments. Don't let me try to take that away from him. He has had his moments, but ultimately, it's still kind of verdict is out for him, right? You got more help in here, so that means should theoretically lead to more production. But so keep your eye on him, see what he does. A couple guys who have been lining it up in camp, Jalen Croker and Jimmy Horn Jr., man. Whew. They said Jimmy Horn Jr. been beating guys by 4 or 5 yards, and I expect for him to get behind this secondary. I think we should at least see 1 home run ball. Andy Dalton's in there, man, or even my man, the backup quarterback here. We should be able to see this guy at least get 1 good deep ball, man, take off, man. Not only what he can do when it comes to receiving, he's a threat in the return game, punt or kick. So Jimmy Horn is a guy that's probably going to have a breakout game. Expect for him. And Jalen Croker, the savvy veteran, if you ask me, he has proven his worth in gold to me. If there's any other young guy that I trust on this team, it's probably Jalen Croker, man. So expect for him to get a couple plays here, being Andy Dalton's and Jack Plummer's, safety net, push comes to shove. Another guy who's been standing out in camp is Jatavion Sanders. Carolina Panthers, no shame about it, no lie about it. they've been one of the worst teams when it comes to using the tight end in the National Football League. But in training camp, they definitely have been finding him. So again, will it translate to actual game plan? I don't know, man. But all I know is based off what we're seeing, Ja'Tavion Sanders could be threatening for #1 tight end position. You got Tommy Tremble and you got the kid that we picked up from Notre Dame. But to me, it's like Ja'Tavion Sanders' job to lose with Tremble dealing with injuries here. So keep your eyes on Horn. Keep your eyes on T-Mac. A couple guys out there, that should possibly, they're bubble guys, Kobe Hudson, Jacoby George, maybe practice guys, 700-yard guys coming out of college, both honorable mentions, for one from the ACC, one from the Big 12. Let's see, can one of those guys step up and possibly try to make this roster, if not a practice squad. If you're asking me about the running game, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne, and Raheem Blackshear should get a heavy dose against the Cleveland Browns. Don't really expect for Chuba to be in the mix. Obviously, he had a good 1,100-yard season. There's no need for him to be there. Can Rico Dowdle come out here and show you what I know about him? Hopefully you guys will soon find out. I'm in love with Rico Dowdle. I honestly think this guy is personally a stud, you know what I mean? So how many carries will he get? I don't think a whole lot. I mean, you don't want to wear him out too much, but I think he's going to come out here and they should be able to establish a line of scrimmage. He should have a couple good plays, man, where you're going to get hyped up about. The rookie Trevor Etienne from the University of Georgia, same thing, out the backfield catching, and also when it comes to running up the middle, he's a guy who can put his head forward and get extra yardage, man. So he's been having a good camp. So the kind of takeaways that we have, the biggest questions for this offense, the center competition. You got Austin Corbett, Cade Mays. I'm not sure what exactly that's about here. I don't know if it's injuries, not staying healthy, or maybe it's a production situation, but you're definitely going to get your answer, or at least to start to kind of get your answer when it comes to the center position. Will Cade Mays come out here and dominate these backups? If he's out here getting pushed around and, you're going to kind of be like, well, okay, maybe we don't need a center competition, right? Next thing, how many wide receivers do we keep? This wide receiver is probably the deepest part of this team. I expect for these guys to come out here and show who's going to be on this roster, right? This is where you come out here, you make those plays, you go out there, and you say, hey, I deserve to be around. If not, you got some guys going to practice squad or possibly getting cut. And then last but not least, the next question you should be asking yourself, who's our tight end #1? Now, obviously, Tremble's in the tub right now through the injury, but you got Ja'Tavion Sanders, who, if you ask me, heads above the shoulder before anybody else. So we'll start to kind of get some answers to these questions as week 1 progresses. With that being said, man, there's a lot more to football other than just the preseason game. It's also to see who's going to be possibly cut here, and it's a bubble watch. Unfortunately, man, you got a couple of guys who I believe must have good games week 1, and that's Raheem Blackshear. Running back here, you already got 3 on the roster. You got Chuba Hubbard, you got Trevor Etienne, and you also got Rico Dowdle. So the odd man out is probably Raheem Blackshear, and the sad thing about it is I would like to just say, well, he can be a return guy, but unfortunately with this deep wide receiver group and guys like Jimmy Horn, who not only can play wide receiver, they definitely can return the ball too. You know what I mean? Now you're squeezing that position too. You kind of get a 2-for-1 kind of guy. So will Raheem Blackshear come out here week 1 and put up a performance where you're like, okay, maybe we keep 2 returners, maybe punt returner, kick returner, or maybe we just have Jimmy Horn and maybe another guy, another extra receiver back there. So I think it's more so his role is solidified as a returner, right? I don't see him much on the field as a running back. Obviously, the preseason he will get a lot of reps, but if he's going to make an impact, you got to watch for him in the return game. When it comes to DJ Johnson, the next guy to watch out for, same situation for him, guy who's been around with minimal production, dealt with some injuries, but this edge rushing room, this linebacker room has gotten deep. You got the 2 rookies coming in with Scorton and Umanley. You got guys like J.J. Weaver from undrafted free agency. If Weaver come in here and literally balls out week 1 of the preseason, you know what I mean? You're asking for it, man. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's one of the times where, man, not everybody is cool, calm, ready to cruise in week 1. Some people are stressing about their job liability. And DJ Johnson, the guy who was brought in with the possibility of being one of the best pass rushers and all this, hasn't quite lived up to that. Almost like Amari Bono 2.0. So week 1 probably could extend his stay just a little bit longer in Carolina, but be honest with you, it's highly unlikely, man, because with the depth we have right there, man. I mean, unless barring injury, you keep somebody like him, but if somebody comes out here and outproduces him, it might be time to say goodbye. Same thing, Raheem Blackshear. So both of those guys could be on the bubble watch. Last but not least, let's talk about what the game plan is for this preseason game. Establishing toughness. You heard Canales say this all throughout the preseason here. What exactly does that mean? How does that exactly look like? Well, the offensive strategy for the Carolina Panthers is controlling the line of scrimmage. I mean, even with the backups here, right? You're talking about guys who are going to be in here when injuries come around, It's a long, brutal season. You want to see guys come out here and assert their dominance. You want to be able to maintain drives, right? You don't have Myles Garrett out there. You probably see a little bit of Mason Graham, who's absolutely a stud. So you may have a little problem there. But ultimately, as a unit, if we can maintain our drives, that gives us better looks, right? It's hard to judge something without a lot of looks. If you're only getting 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, I mean, for some of these guys, you're basing your job function off of 3 and outs. So if I were you guys, let's maintain this line of scrimmage, maintain drives. Let's keep 6, 7, 8 plays at a time, or more. Get a good, clean look. One of the ways you maintain drives is by running the ball. So once we establish the line of scrimmage, you can run that ball with Rico Dotto, Trevor Etienne. If we can do that, it's going to allow for favorable passing lanes for our wide receivers, which in turn can help us move the ball down the field in a hurry. And last but not least, for this offense, stretching the ball down the field, as I alluded to. I mean, you got guys like T-Mac, Jimmy Horn that can get down the field, not only catch and contest an area, but get down the field in a hurry. So, it's one thing, again, to do this in preseason or training camp against your fellow teammate. But let's see it on full display in the game, right? These guys are talented. Yeah, I think you got a solid offensive line, a good coach. You should be able to execute week 1. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, the game plan is simple. No home run plays, right? No home run plays. It can't beat ourselves, right? One thing to get the defense off the field, 3 and out, but when you're giving up chunk plays, you're giving up big plays, one-hitter quitters, it really demoralizes you and also put your coaching and your teammates behind the sticks. So let's stay ahead of the sticks, keep the ball in front of us, let's spin but not break, and let's keep these drives short. Another thing we must do is stop the run, okay? They got a good three-head monster back there. We can stop the run. We make these young quarterbacks one-dimensional. You got the Kenny Pickett, the Dillon Gabriel of the worlds, and the Shedeur Sanders. Last thing they want to do is come out here and carry the load of that offense, right? Especially with them being in their first preseason game, or Kenny Pickett, a guy who has a little to none experience when it comes to a lengthy amount of NFL games. So let's keep the pressure on that run game, take it away, and let's see can the quarterback beat us if we make him one-dimensional. Containing the quarterback will be another key asset when it comes to this defense. All 3 of these quarterbacks can take off on you, right? Pickett, you got Gabriel, and you also got Shedeur Sanders. If things get tough, and again, we take away the run game, they may try to put the run game on their legs. So if we can stop that and limit that, it can be an easy night for us, man. If not, it could be a frustrating night, If they're getting their things going with their legs and then they have the option to throw as well, it could be very, very frustrating. So let's contain them, keep them in check, let them beat us with their arm, and try to out navigate our defense. Another thing is this: we must get pressure. We got to get pressure, man. We got to get pressure. Okay. This defense, one of the things we were lacking last year was pressure on the quarterback. And, whether it be through injury or just, the defense not being able to get there, man, I think we got, a lot of young pieces, even a couple veteran pieces that can get in there and cause havoc, right? And I think this game really favors us because of that, the young quarterback core that they have, right? And the young talent that we have. So expect for the pressure to be turned up. And what comes with pressure? That's right, turnovers, man. So getting pressure and turning the ball over will be key in this game. And I expect for us to at least have 1 turnover, and we should be doing some partying on Mint Street here. But this defense is hungry. I think this linebacker room may be the cause of those turnovers. I really believe in this linebacker room, despite what anybody says here. And last but not least, 3 and outs, right? Let's stay disciplined. Let's get 3 and outs. Let's cut these guys' drives in half, right? The longer they stay on the field, the longer you're tired. The longer you're tired, the more mistakes you make. So be disciplined, read your keys. We don't need any heroes, right? Obviously, we like pick sixes and we like strip sacks and all that. But let's not play hero ball. Hero ball gets you unemployed, okay? Let's play discipline ball. Come out here and make some plays, shorten them out, 3 and out, and live to fight another down, man. Hey, man, I'm your host, El Grande Gato, also known as the Big Cat, and this has been 1995 The Roar, a channel for the fans, by a fan, man. Listen, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, share, subscribe. If you would, man, consider joining the Discord for free, where we're talking about Carolina Panthers football 24/7 preseason, offseason. We're just really trying to engage the community. Before we leave out of here, I'd like to give a very, very special thank to C. Dougie. Be sure to check him out. What's up, Doug? If you like the presentation you've seen today, the format with these templates, be sure to reach out to him. He'll get you situated, maybe for a nominal fee, but he's done great work, and I very appreciate the insight on that, man. Get in the comment section, guys, and let me know. What's your breakdown assessment of this Cleveland Browns Panthers game? Who needs to step up? Who's on the bubble? Should Bryce Young pray? And much more, man. One love, man. Keep pounding. Pause up. 95ers. Roar.